right, welcome back to the IMNerd Podcast. We are now on episode 3, and this time we will be talking about Demon Slayer. I'm Frazier, and this is my co-host Kenny.
Hello. Hello, Frazier.
That's right.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm ready to talk about some Demon Slayer. This anime, I believe it aired in 2019, and I watched it I think it was already in episode 11 or 12 when I finally started watching it. My best friend told me about it.
You started it before I did.
Oh, really? Yeah, you watched it kind of later than I did. But it is one of the best animated series I've ever seen. I mean, I think we can all agree, Demon Slayer just looks visually insane, right?
Oh, yeah, it's fucking UFO table. However you say it. Ufotable.
Yeah,
whatever the fuck their name
UFO
is.
table. I don't know how you say the studio's
whatever their name is.
UFO table, Ufotable. They are amazing.
They're
animation.
insane.
They do the what is it? What's that other series that they do?
Fate.
Fate,
I'm pretty sure they do Fate.
Which also looks immaculate.
Yeah.
Fate, and I've only watched Fate Apocrypha, and that shit looked really sick. So they're known for great animation. Demon Slayer is no different.
Yeah, I started Demon Slayer, I don't know, late. I'm pretty sure during COVID. It was after all the season 1 was out.
Okay, cool.
I started just because I had some friends that kept telling me about it, kept telling me how good it was. And and it just looked kind of cool. So I wanted to start it. Actually, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I did watch episode 1 when it aired. When episode 1 aired, I did watch it. I just remembered that. However, I never got around to going back to it until it was already all out. And then I just watched it all at once.
Yeah, it got really hype. I remember started trending on Twitter around episode 19, the infamous episode that we will definitely talk about. But it the song started trending on Twitter. Everyone was talking about episode 19. It became a whole thing across. I mean, it was mainstream. Demon Slayer became very, very mainstream. And
I've got a point to make on that a little later.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Well, let's start with what Demon Slayer is about. So if you're listening to this, we are definitely going to talk about everything we know as far as the anime. We will not be talking about the manga at all.
Nope.
if you are an anime only person, you don't have to worry about spoilers. As long as you've seen the anime and seen Mugen Train, you are good. We will not be going past that. So season 1, it kind of starts off with the main character Tanjiro, who has a family. He has a mom, a bunch of little brothers and sisters, and he leaves out one day. Typical anime style, goes down to a village where everyone's super nice. The main RPG, you start out all the NPCs are oh, want to see my wares, that whole thing. He goes down, spends the night in the village, and then comes back up to where his home is, and his entire family's been slaughtered. Straight up from the gate, episode 1, his entire family has pretty much been brutally murdered. It's very gory, very dark. And his only surviving relative is one of his sisters, but she's now a demon. So that is the immediate take off of the story. Is he's trying to at least get his sister, who's a demon, to turn back into a human. And one of the stronger characters in the series, Tomioka Giyu, he appears and tries to kill her because as a demon slayer, that is his job to do, is to eradicate every demon that he comes across. Typically demons kill humans, but for whatever reason, Tanjiro's sister Nezuko is not trying to kill him. She's actually trying to protect him. And it makes Giyu question, that's not demon behavior. Demons normally would just devour humans. What is going on here? So he gives them a reprieve, basically, and backs off, doesn't try to kill her anymore, and tells the main character Tanjiro about where he can go to maybe get answers on the possibility of turning his sister back into a human and get training and all that type of thing. And that's kind of the start of the series.
Yeah, that's the episode 1.
Yeah. So season 1 is literally just, the main character going around. He goes up to this mountain, meets this teacher guy, your typical anime guru who's super old, the old guy who knows so much. He trains him in the water breathing style. And it's really cool how this anime starts because it has a time skip in the very beginning.
Yeah, it does.
Tanjiro goes up to the mountain, meets his new sensei, And it takes him like over 2 years to go through training, which is kind of cool because then we don't have to worry about him getting strong like out of nowhere. Like it, it is fast, but it's not like, oh, only only a week has passed and he's already fucking mastering water breathing.
I actually thought that was really cool. The fact that it was like episode 1 or 2, it was super early.
Yeah,
there was a time skip. Like he went, there was a whole training like montage, and then it showed him getting better, and it also like his hair got longer, like time passed, like
it's
legit
cool.
time passed.
Yep, and
right in the very beginning, and it showed like, yeah, this motherfucker was training. Like it's not just like you said, like, oh, believe it, I'm strong now. Like,
yeah, like he didn't just have that 1 week later, like he's using Chidori perfectly or so, you know what I mean? Like it's not that. Like he definitely had a time skip in the beginning, which I thought was well placed because most shonen anime will have a time skip way later, like way later. And so seeing a time skip so early made sense, aged the character a little bit. And as for his little sister, who is a demon, they use this time to explain to us that like she doesn't eat humans, but she does sleep in order to like regain her strength and regain her like energy or whatever.
So she sleeps for like an abnormally long time.
Yes, she literally sleeps during this, like while he's training for years. Like I'm pretty sure Nezuko is actually asleep. So that's like how to explain her away. She doesn't really speak or anything like that, but he ends up training, learning the water breathing. His sensei tells him that until you can cut this boulder, you can't, really go any further. And then obviously he learns to cut the boulder. He gets to enter into this like little exam where there's a bunch of other kids who are training to be demon slayers as well. And there's like a really, there's like a really powerful demon that's like roaming this like exam that is literally killing kids, right? Like, isn't this like this?
Yeah, he kills specifically every kid sent by, I think his name's like Ukatoka or something.
Yeah.
I forget his name, the name of the master. But or Urokodaki, I think.
Yeah, Urokodaki.
So anyway, that guy is the one that caught that demon, the big ass demon.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he caught him, and then like that teacher has sent multiple kids up to the final selection over like all these years, and they all wear like the mask, and that demon's killed every single one of them.
Right. So this is a big deal that Tanjiro is now in this exam because this demon, demon is the way the demons work in Demon Slayer is that they get stronger as they like eat humans. So this demon who has consumed like God knows how many children at this point is really powerful. And Tanjiro like actually fights it, and it's actually scary from the start because you know that the stakes are super high. But he does end up like killing the demon and passing the final selection, which is really like, that's what you expect that from a shonen, right? He's not going to die that early. Like nothing bad's really going to happen to him. So he passes that. And then like it just kind of continues where he gets the ability to go on missions from that point. Like he starts to be able to, like this little crow comes out of nowhere and it's like, you have to go here and investigate this. Like this town has some weird disappearances. And so he kind of just goes around village to village, killing demons. And
when that ends is when they get like the rock that they make their swords out of, right?
Yeah, so that's another part. So they give him a black blade, which we don't really know much about still. Where the anime
there's like a special rock that they get. All of them get it. They get it. Well, all the people that pass the test get it, and then that rock is used to make their blade. And then the blade, the way it's described is like the blade takes on like the essence of the owner or the wielder or whatever. Right. And like they're excited to see what color it is. Characters that we'll see later on, but you'll see they might have a red blade or they say a green blade or a yellow blade or whatever. And we see some other characters with slightly different blades, but Tanjiro's is black. And the swordsmith that gives it to him got kind of not depressed, but off-put when he saw that it turned black because he was like, there's never been like there's no famous black swordsman. Like none of the, like I thought it would be red or blue, but your blade being black, like nothing exciting, which we know now means that he's going to do some OD shit. Yeah, because if nobody has ever had anything special with a black blade, the main character is going to do some shit with it.
Yeah, I'm actually so curious about that part of the series. Is like the color of the blade matters, but I don't know like what it means yet, and so that keeps me really interested in that whole thing. Like I really want to know what is going to happen with this black sword because again, like they made such a big deal about it that his sword turned black. Like, ooh. And I thought
Yeah,
that by now, like 26 episodes of the anime and then Mugen Train, still we don't know anything about like what it really means.
not at all.
But he just kind of goes around like killing demons, and then at some point they run into the main like villain. Like he is the guy who actually has turned. Like he's the only person apparently who can turn people into demons. So his blood literally turns humans into demons, and depending on how much blood he gives you and if you can actually survive it, depends on like it changes how strong you are. So the main character Tanjiro runs into this guy super early who looks like Michael Jackson, like everybody.
Does look like fucking Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he looks exactly like Michael Jackson. Has like the hat and everything. Like he like runs into him super early, and for whatever reason, the main villain doesn't decide to like kill Tanjiro, but he does want him dead. You find out, and so that's like a weird thing that's going on too. Is like he's like telling all the other demons kill the boy with the Hanafuda earrings, but he doesn't do it himself. And we know that he's way stronger than pretty much everyone else because, as you find out later, like he kills a bunch of humans in an alleyway, like really brutal. He kicks one of them into the air, and the guy like flies, has to be like several feet into the air. He flies above like every building in the town that they're in, and he like falls down and dies to his. And then like he just hits another guy, like immediately kills him, and then gives another human too much of his blood, and it like makes them explode. So he's outrageously powerful, as you might expect. He's very sinister, very evil, and you can feel the stakes are super high. But for whatever reason, and we still don't know, like he doesn't do anything to the main character, but he wants him dead. So it might be something with the earrings. I've been speculating, like I guess that maybe that's why, like maybe those earrings are protecting him because his dad passed the earrings down to him.
Yeah, the earrings. I never even really considered if the earrings had any like protect. I mean, they might have like a protective spell on them.
Right.
I think that maybe his dad wore them, and yeah, his dad passed them down, and maybe his dad was on some. As we'll see later in episode when we talk about episode 19, his dad is on some shit. Obviously,
Yeah.
Like, there's something going on with his pop.
Yeah, Tanjiro's dad used to be a Hashira that did like sun breathing, and so so there's like fire breathing and there's like water breathing, but like when you hear something called sun breathing or like it just sounds extremely broken. And when you see episode 19, it's like, oh, okay, like this is some absolute nonsense. Like here's your main character syndrome where he's in a really bad spot and he just gets like OP as fuck for no reason. So his dad, I guess, like is one of the masters of the sun breathing technique. And I don't know what it is about those earrings, but his dad in a flashback said, make sure that these get passed down no matter what.
Yeah.
So there's an emphasis placed on these earrings. Like these earrings mean something.
Yeah.
And I always think about like, why didn't Muzan, the main villain, why didn't he just eliminate Tanjiro on the spot? Like he saw him, like he could have just scratched him like he did like he scratched a human and turned this human into a demon to like create a diversion so he could like get away. Because he was strangely with a family. Like he had like a kid.
Yeah.
It would look like a wife.
I can't remember exactly where this is placed, but something that gets talked about later in the anime, and it might get mentioned in the movie too. But Muzan is like very specifically hiding. Like,
yeah,
I think I don't remember if anybody uses the term coward, but like people refer to him, like the demon slayers or whoever, like people refer to him as just like always hiding and stuff like that. And so he's very clearly, I guess, just hiding from stuff. Or hiding from something specifically, maybe that the one dude that's blind. I don't really know, the top of the Hashira, like the leader.
Yeah, we don't know his relationship to him either, and we also found out that like they haven't even seen the guy.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever even seen each other, right? That gets talked about in the movie.
Yeah, like they actually, yeah, I think they talk about it at the end of the anime too. Like they've never actually when Tanjiro mentions that he ran into Muzan. All the Hashiras, everyone there is like really surprised. They're like, you ran into him? Like they're blown away by that. Like,
yeah,
none of them have ever actually seen him, which that like the whole thing, and he can also change like his appearance completely and his aura and everything about himself so that he can completely look like another person.
Yeah, he's interesting because we know he's super strong. We know that he creates demons. Right. We know that all the demons we've seen so far have been created by him. And then like they talk about the lower and upper moons, which are essentially like his Akatsuki. And
for sure.
And they're super broken. Like we've seen them, like we've seen a little bit from them. So So we know he's super powerful. They talk about later on in the series, toward the very end of the series and in the movie, they talk about how the upper moons have never changed.
For hundreds of years.
So I think there's 8 total. There's 4 upper and 4 lower, if I remember correctly.
6 and 6.
Okay, 6 and 6.
Yeah.
So the top 6 for hundreds of years have never ever changed. They've been the exact same.
That's like that. Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. So if you tell me that demons go around, they kill humans and they get stronger by killing humans, right? And you have these Hashiras or whatever who are like these super powerful versions of demon slayers, but then you have these upper moons who are like the Espada of the demons. They're extremely powerful. They've lived for hundreds of years. Like that scares me. Like that scares the shit out of me.
They're broken.
They have to be ridiculous. Like you don't see an upper moon until Mugen Train, but like you just have to imagine. And then the one you see is absolutely outrageous too, right?
He's outrageous.
We'll talk about Mugen Train a little bit later, but like it's just really scary to think that the top 6 demons have not changed their ranks in hundreds of years because no one has been stronger than them. I guess no Hashiras have been able to kill them. And I'm pretty sure that they've killed Hashiras. Like they're that strong. And I know we're saying Hashiras without actually mentioning it, but like Hashiras are like they're like the Sanin or whatever of the demon slayers. They're the legendary Sanin. They're the captains in Bleach. They're the Shichibukai in One Piece. Like they're the super strong versions of a demon slayer. If you're a Hashira, you're insane.
Yeah. So the upper moons have killed Hashiras in the past.
Yep.
They've never been defeated. They've never lost in hundreds of years. And Muzan created them. He can also give blood to them to make them even stronger. Like in addition to them killing and eating humans to get stronger,
right.
He can just also give you more blood and make you stronger if your body can handle it and you don't die. But the lower moons, although are stronger than most other demons, they have been defeated by Hashira. He mentions like the lower moons are weak. Like you guys lose to Hashira. Like these guys have never changed. He
was really mad about it too. Like he killed them all in like one of the last episodes of the anime because he was just so disappointed. I mean, it really made me think of Aizen. If you remember what Aizen did to the Espada, the captain started beating the Espada, and Aizen was embarrassed by it, and so he just started killing them himself. He just literally said, "I wasted so much time collecting all of you, and for you to embarrass me like this." And he just started killing them, and so Muzan summons every single lower moon because Rui had died or whatever. One of the lower moons had died, and he just killed the rest of them and left one alive, and was like, You go and try to make up for the fucking disgrace that you guys have brought to me. Like you guys have literally embarrassed me so bad that I'm just disappointed. Like he's just utterly disappointed in them. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's interesting because we went off into that because we're talking about how he's so strong. Why not just kill Tanjiro right there?
Right.
Why does he hide so much? Why isn't he just out? Like what's interesting is he's not like controlling the world. He's not I'm ruling the world or anything. He's in hiding, and we know how powerful. Like something I'm excited about is we're eventually going to see the flashback or whatever of how things came to be what they are now.
Right.
Why he is what he is, and because it's interesting with how strong he is. Why is he in hiding? Why isn't he ruling the world? Like he's been in power, or he's been this strong and had the upper moons that have never lost to Hashiras for hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
Like. What exactly is keeping him from ruling the world?
Yeah, I think about that too. Like the times they're in, very few people can challenge even the moons. Like even the lower moons are a bit much. So like the fact that there's like these stronger versions of them, and then there's him, and he can turn people with just swiping his claws past their neck. Like the way he turned that guy in the village was like it was so quick. He can just do shit like theoretically he could just start turning an entire village into demons immediately. But like why doesn't he do that?
Yep.
Like what we don't know what his real goal is besides his one command so far has been like kill the boy with the honeyfoot earrings. Like that has been his like decree, but everything else about him is such a mystery, and it makes him very interesting. He's also really fucking mean, and I really like him. I just want to talk about him as like a villain. Like he is really ruthless. He's obviously killed many humans already on screen. He's killed his own lower moons, and he also just talks down to people. Like the way when he summoned the lower moons and he was talking to them, he was like, prostrate yourselves. Like, who are you to ever ask me for anything? Like, are you saying that I'm wrong? Like the way he just talked to them was just so vicious. It was like, they couldn't get a word in it. Like if they even tried to speak, he would just kill them. Like you can't.
That was it.
And then one of them was like, I won't say anything. I'll just think it. And then he listened.
And he was like, I can read your thoughts, you dumbass.
Yeah, like he responded to that guy's thoughts. Like he literally like interjected. The guy was thinking to himself, like, okay, I won't say anything bad. Like, I'm just hoping that if I just mind my fucking business and like don't look at him, don't do anything, like maybe he'll just spare me. And then he was like, do you really think that like I can't fucking hear you? Basically, like he's really his powers or whatever are just like they're ridiculous. Like I just
Oh, that's on the note of his powers and him hearing their thoughts or whatever. So it's like they talk about how every demon. So one of the rules, this goes into him being scared, so to say, of people finding him. One of the rules of being a demon is that you shall never say his name. They make it clear. You cannot, like, if you're a demon, you will never, ever, ever say like the leader's name, Muzan's name.
And if you try to say it, you die.
And you immediately die if you say it. And he at I think something like at any point in time, he knows where every demon is. Any demon that has his blood or something. I think he knows where they are. He can sense them.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Like you can't even speak his name.
If you speak his name, he kills you.
He's on some Voldemort shit. like
yeah.
like you don't even speak that fucking name. Like it's that bad. But he's really powerful, and so in his world, in context, like he's insane. Like he's not the strongest anime villain I've seen, but he's definitely in his world, like in the Demon Slayer world. The main villain is very terrifying and very overpowered, it seems. But he's hiding for a reason that we do not understand. So that's kind of one of those things that I'm still interested.
Something else that's interesting is, so Nezuko is a demon, right? And as we said, all the demons that we know of have all been turned into demons by Muzan, like directly, right? No. That's right. Yeah, never mind.
Kinda, and yes and no. So
I just remembered.
Most demons have been turned into demons by Muzan, but then some of them are turned by the moons.
I just
upper and the lower moons. They're allowed to turn people into demons. They're allowed to share the blood and create a.
So what I was going to say is, I'm interested who turned Nezuko, Tanjiro's younger sister, the second main character of the show, basically. Who turned her, and why? Like, why is she different? Is it really just like her willpower? Is it her bloodline, something from her father? What is it?
Yeah,
that's
a good point too. Because Nezuko is the only demon that they've ever seen. Right, the Demon Slayer Corps has never seen a demon that protects humans and doesn't want to eat humans. She salivates at the thought of humans and things like that, like human blood, but she still can control herself. And that's not been a thing that they've ever seen, apparently, because they were so blown away by the fact that even when a human's blood is dripping right in front of her, she still did not eat it. Like she still didn't go for them or try to attack them.
And you could see it was self-control because she looked like she wanted to eat it and she was forcing herself not to.
Yeah, she was blatantly salivating and she still decided, like, I'm not going to harm humans because that's just like Tanjiro said, like, that's not what you do. Like, you don't do that. And she listens. And I just think that's another interesting point. Like, a lot of people speculate in the beginning that, oh yeah, of course Muzan turned her. He killed the whole family. We don't know if Muzan actually even came past that village and killed Tanjiro's family. We don't know which demon massacred his family. We don't know why specifically did they, because it almost seems like a targeted attack when you think about it. Like the whole Hanafuda earrings. Tanjiro just so happened to not be there that night, but maybe he was a target too, and they didn't know where he was at. But for whatever reason, like they kill his family. And Nezuko gets turned, and I feel like in order to turn a demon, like it has to be intentional. Like you can kill the demon.
I think so. At the moment, I agree. At the moment, I think turning into a demon is intentional.
Yeah, it seems like it's a very like I'm doing this on purpose type of thing. Because when we see the lower moon, Rui turning people into demons, like sharing the blood and everything like that, it's a very intentional like ritual. Like it's a thing that I want to make you a demon. And they take on his appearance and everything like that. So it's really interesting that Nezuko is a demon that doesn't kill people. She doesn't speak, and demons can speak. For whatever reason, she doesn't speak yet. So there's that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I think that she's an interesting character, even though she doesn't really speak. Like she's a demon that doesn't do a lot of the things that demons do. So
yeah, and she has some funny little powers. Like I don't know. They make her really cute. Like she gets really small and she gets really big. Like, and
I like that about her. The chibi.
She's a cute character, and I do like her a lot.
Me too. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, her and Tanjiro, like, I like both of them. I like their dynamic. I really, something that, I don't know, kind of warmed my heart a bit. Something I just enjoyed about the show was the brother-sister dynamic and these two going out together.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it kind of like this anime kind of reminds you of Full Metal Alchemist in a way, because like you have this sibling like coupling, right? That is going out trying, like one is trying to heal the other. Like I'll, turn into a full suit of armor and everything. And Full Metal Alchemist, they're trying to literally heal him from that, turn him back into a human. Whereas in Demon Slayer, you have a brother and sister going out, and one of them is a demon, and they're trying to like turn her back into a human. And that's like the whole point.
It's a super interesting point. Because Ed and Al, episode 1 of FMA, stuff happens. Ed's body, he loses his arm and his leg, and then Al loses his entire body.
His entire body. So,
and then he gets put into a suit of armor. His soul is in a suit of armor, and the whole Full Metal Alchemist is we're going to get our bodies back.
Right.
And so Demon Slayer similar. It's these siblings that are going out on this adventure to like heal themselves.
Yeah, like I want to heal Nezuko. I want to turn her back into a human. That's like Tanjiro's main motivation for everything that he does. He became a Demon Slayer for that reason. It's also like, let's examine the main character for a bit. Like this is a shonen anime. This is the protagonist. He has a lot of like the typical anime tropes in him. Like, Tanjiro isn't out to just kill all the demons mercilessly.
No, not at all.
And when you see the first Hashira in episode 1, he kind of just immediately sees a demon as like, I have to kill it. He doesn't know anything about Nezuko, but he just
on sight.
It's on sight for him. He just like, there's a demon. My job is if I see a demon, I kill demon. There's no question. Tanjiro, on the other hand, actually refuses in the earlier episodes to kill a demon. He actually waits till the sun comes out and the demon like dies because the sun came out. But he refuses in the beginning to actually kill a demon. And he also has a hard time, like some of the other demons. There was a scene later on where they're in the forest and he decides to like mercifully kill a demon. Like he's about to cut her head off. And
oh, dude, that scene was so beautiful.
It's so good. And like in the last moment,
it's like Peaceful Rain or something. Like
like some crazy like name. Oh, yeah, man. he in a way like mercifully kills her, and she even says like it feels so warm and so like light. Like it isn't what I expected, because she like accepted that she was going to die, and he saw that. Like she was welcoming. She didn't want to be a demon anymore, pretty much. She was welcoming the whole thing. And the second he saw that, he changed his stance, and he like gave her like a death that wasn't so violent.
He had mercy. He's
a kind-hearted main character, even though he in like the realm of still like kill.
Yeah, in the realm of I guess shonen protagonist, right? If you have Goku all the way on one end, who is like in terms of normal intelligence, like an absolute idiot, but a genius combat artist.
Yeah.
And then you have all the way on the other end, maybe you have like Deku, who's like very, very smart, very intelligent. Still obviously strong because of the quirk that he got, but he's more brains than
he's not technique. Because he's not the best battle strategist, because he fucking hurts himself to attack people in the beginning, which is not
all
smart.
The time.
Like, it's just literally not smart. Like that's just not a smart thing to do.
But he's like book smart. He's like really studied.
Yes.
So like, I feel like Tanjiro's somewhere in the middle of that.
I agree with that.
Like Tanjiro's not as like instinctual and like empty-headed as like Goku or like maybe even Luffy, but he's not I don't think as like thoughtful as Deku.
Yeah, I agree. Tanjiro is like, he's definitely in the middle of a pretty smart character. Like he definitely analyzes situations when he's fighting demons. Like he picks up on what their little quirks are and things like that. And he also kind of just like adapts. He adapts very, very well to the situation. A good example of that is when he was fighting the demons that had the arrow and that one like
the dodgeballs and the arrow.
Yeah, when he was fighting against them,
she was hot.
There was a point where he got controlled by the arrow, and the girl was trying to like crash. They were trying to crash him into the ground to kill him. And he had to keep repeatedly using different techniques to like not die, to like brace the impact, which is really intelligent. Like it's extremely intelligent what he did to like survive that entire endeavor, because if any of those slams like really connected, he probably would have died.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
That was pretty tough.
But yeah, he has like a heart, like even for the demons. Like he doesn't look at all demons as like something that needs to be eradicated. He takes them on a case by case basis. Like some of them, he's like, yes, you absolutely need to fucking die. Like this demon is like are murderous. You can't bargain. Like you can't bargain with this one. You can't speak to this one. You have to go.
And he'll just kill them.
He'll just kill you.
It won't, like, if it's at that point, it won't really be an internal struggle. Like if he sees the opening thread, he's going to try to take your head off. He literally will just decapitate you, no problem. But then some of the demons is like, for whatever reason, I actually feel for this one, and I'm not gonna go as hard. So that's like a weakness in him too. Like that can be exploited later on, and that might be a thing. But for right now, it hasn't caused him too much harm. And he does have a sister who, when he's in like trouble, sometimes Nezuko comes out. She's broken
because she's a demon. She's fucking strong too, and she also awakens her blood demon magic, which is like her blood explodes. So she's pretty powerful already. So let's talk about the infamous episode, like episode 19, right? So we have Tanjiro running into his first lower moon. And it's the spider, like this short little spider dude who has like threads, like spider threads, or like that's his like main ability. He can like decapitate things. He can like
he's pretty fucked up.
He's really like, just like Muzan, he's very mean spirited. He kills you for nothing. Like he kills you really brutally. Just has like a really dark personality, doesn't joke, doesn't kid, just everything he says is like dark. And there's a flashback of him running into, this girl was running away, and she's running away from a bunch of demon slayers, and he comes out of nowhere to save her and just immediately cuts the entire group of students into pieces with his strings. Like he just dices them up. He just dices them up immediately. Like it's very, very dark, very gory.
And then they also show that he can use the threads to connect to their body and control them.
Yeah.
And force them to like fight each other and shit. So
yeah, he's
forcing like friends to kill each other.
He's messed up. And the other thing about, he can force you to like kill your own people. He's very messed up. And then he found out about a betrayal. So one of the demons that he turned like wanted to run away and get away and everything like that. And she tried it. She actually made an attempt, and she got hung out in the sun after a night of getting beat up by him, and like the whole group like stomping her out and punching on her and beating on her. She got hung out, like crucified, like literally put on a cross, and the sun came out, and like then she got killed because the sun automatically kills them. But he's very brutal, and like he rules by fear. But this is one of the lower moons, so he's not the strongest of demons, but he's also one of the more powerful. Like he's not a regular demon. He's one of the ones that's allowed to share the blood.
Yeah, so he's insane. But and then I guess the main point of this is, I don't know, there's a whole arc, right? We won't talk about every detail of the whole arc, but the juice of it is things happen. Tanjiro and him are fighting. He has like this weird like quirk where he wants to have a family. He wants to expand his family. That's like his thing.
He wants to have a full-on family, a mom, dad, brother, sister.
Yep. So when he sees the relationship of Tanjiro and Nezuko, like he covets Nezuko. He was like, I want her to be my sister. Like I want her to love me like that. He sees that she's a demon and he's a human. He gets intrigued by the fact that she loves him still. And he's like, I want her. Like I want that love, like I want her to be my sister.
Like right? Literally tells Tanjiro, like, I'm taking your sister. Like that is like your sister fucking belongs to me now. Like I'm taking her, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's really weird, like that whole concept, like I'm just gonna take your sister and like she's gonna be my sister now because I want the relationship that you have with her it's very strange, very like demented. But that's what he wants. And he at some point like literally steals Nezuko from Tanjiro. And Tanjiro obviously is not having that shit.
Not at all. And that's when they rumble. And they fucking fight. Tanjiro makes very little headway in the fight.
Yeah, he gets beat up bad. Like if there's no competition, Rui is just showing him like, you don't stand a chance. He even lets him
not at all.
At one point, he even lets him like slice his neck, and he's like, you couldn't cut me if you wanted to. Like he literally lets the blade go against his neck. Like I think
the blade breaks on his neck, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. Like it does actually. Tanjiro's sword breaks on Rui's neck. He's like, you can't even cut me if you wanted to. Like you're not even close. And he just beats the shit out of him. Like he beats him up and down the forest, and then he starts like fucking Nezuko up for no reason. Like he just starts, slicing. He slices her arm up. He strings her up with a bunch of his spider webs, and like starts literally the webs are like cutting into her body, and she's bleeding all over the place, and she's like suspended up in the air. It's a very like it's it's a very hentai looking scene when you look at it. Like she's like gagged, like the character's already gagged, right? Like let's be clear. Nezuko is like literally gagged.
She is.
And she's like in the air, upside down, like
all tied
up, being squeezed by like these ropes and strings, like these like, you know, tentacle looking thing. And she's like bleeding all over the place. It's just like a very gory.
It is a little fetishy. It's a little fetishy. I'll admit it's a little fetishy.
It gives me very fetish. Like it's a very artsy looking scene when you see her in the air bleeding and everything. Like with the moons.
It looks dope though.
It does. It looks really cool.
Because the art is beautiful and like the way it's all animated is really nice looking. So when I was watching it, you know, I wasn't thinking about it, but I mean, you know, it's a little
like I could tell
fetishy.
It's very fetishy with her being gagged and like tied up and everything. So she's like bleeding all over the place, and Tanjiro sees this and he's like, well, I gotta save my sister. And so his like mom like pretty much comes to him in like a, you know, like a flashback vision type thing. He like sees his life flash before him. Like literally there's like a clip of like his entire life that starts to like flash before his eyes, and he activates the sun breathing that his dad used to do. He like sees his dad in a flashback, like dancing, like he used to watch his dad do it as a child. And it's just one of the most beautiful scenes in all of anime. And
the music, the song that's played, the song is beautiful. There's like the song playing, and you see his dad like dancing, and then like over the song, you hear him like ask his mom, like, "Oh, why does dad do that?" And they're like talking, and then his dad says something, or like they say because it's like snowing outside. Yeah, and he's like barely clothed. And then he says, like,
but none of the snow like landed.
Yeah, and he's like, as long as you know this dance, like you'll always be warm or something like that. It's like a really beautiful scene.
Yeah, he says that you can. I think he said you can fight forever or something like that. Like you can pretty much breathe as long as you know this form of breathing. You can pretty much fight forever. Like you can just go on and on.
And at the time, you know, Tanjiro's a kid, so he doesn't know like the breathing techniques yet.
Right, he has no idea about any of that shit.
And so it's just this beautiful scene because his dad also looks like sick. Like his dad doesn't look like a fighter. You know what I mean? His dad looks like a sick old man.
His dad definitely does not look like a broken anime character by any means. He definitely looks sickly and thin. He's very like
he's not muscled out.
No.
So and he's doing the dance and the music's playing, and it's just like this really beautiful scene, and it cuts and then it goes back to the present, and fucking Tanjiro, he starts doing the dance, and then like the breathing technique starts and the music fucking picks up, and the animation is just on another. It truly is one of the most beautiful episodes of anime.
Hinokami Kagura, like when he says that shit and his sword goes from water to fire, like this fucking fire dragon, and he starts cutting through like Rui's spider webs that are like as hard as steel and shit. He's just like slicing through them and like spinning through them, and like Rui's like, oh, like I that like Rui even knows like that looks dangerous. Like that,
he's like, I can't just stick my neck out for that one.
Yeah, like he sees this technique and he can tell like that is some hot shit, no pun intended. Like I need to not let that get close. So he starts to like wrap Tanjiro up in a bunch of like these blood covered strings that like makes them even stronger. And Tanjiro's like, I have to get through. I can't afford to like die here. I can't let him take Nezuko. So he just like perseveres and fucking cuts through everything. And Nezuko activates her fucking
blood
power
demon heart
because Tanjiro eventually like slices at Rui's neck, and it doesn't cut through at first, but then
it's like starting to, but it can't quite make
it like can't cut his neck, and so there's blood on Tanjiro's broken sword from Nezuko, and she activates her blood demon art for the first time ever, which was hype as hell, and it's like exploding blood. Like her blood, I guess, like has some kind of explosive power to it, so that gives him the extra strength he needs to like cut through this lower moon's neck and cut his head off. But then you come to find out like it was all a sham because the fucking demon like decapitated himself before it could happen. And
there was some other bullshit that happened in the following episodes. But that episode was fucking clean. Like it was clean.
That is one of the best episodes of anime I've ever seen. I actually teared up after
I did too.
The episode ends.
Legitimately.
Like when he cut when he cut the head off, and I think he said like, I'm never going to let you take my sister. Like he said something along the lines of that, like no one is going to come between me and Nezuko. And then the music starts playing and they start showing Tanjiro's family like when they were alive, like his mom holding him up and like they were all children. That shit made me so sad. Like I just started tearing, and it was so hype, but it was so sad.
I think it goes into the credits as well, and the credits shows his dad and shows him and his dad. I legitimately am not gonna lie, like especially the stuff with like the dad and the dad dancing, and like
it was,
and then like passing it down to his son, and like the son fighting for his sister, and just all that stuff, and the whole family legitimately had tears. Like I wasn't sobbing, I was like, I legitimately had tears. Like like my face had like dried tears.
I genuinely started like tears welled up in my eyes 100%. I remember
for sure
when I watched that scene. The second the credits came on, you just seen like his family, and I said, "Yo, he really lost everything." Like something about that concept, like the thought of losing your whole family like that, basically, just made me really sad for him. I was like, "Yo, he's really fighting for like the only family."
Fucking life.
I'm fighting for my fucking life out here. Like he's really fighting for his life. Like he's fighting for his sister, the only family he has left. Like that shit was just so sad to me, and I don't know. I love Demon Slayer. Like, I know a lot of people get shit because the story's not like.
This shows that. I have a theory that as you get older, you become more of a bitch.
Okay.
Because if I watched Demon Slayer when I was 15, there's 0% chance I would have teared up. I would have just been pumped and hyped off like the scene of him fucking shit up. Like 0% chance I would have teared up. 15,
I would have been like, okay, anyway. Like that was hype. I'd have been hyped shit about the fire and the sword and all that.
But
yeah, I would have teared up for sure. Like,
but now that like as I'm getting older, it's like I see shit like that and I'm like,
you've experienced enough life to where you care about things like you know, you feel the emotion, you make an emotional connection.
So
I felt that.
That's it's something that's interesting because I think that it's something that I think people should do. It's something that I like doing. Anything that I enjoyed watching younger, I like rewatching just to see what my reactions are, like how I don't know, just what my reactions are, what I think about certain things, and think about how I reacted to it when I was younger.
I think about like, for example, Goku turning Super Saiyan for the first time. I remember that shit. Like it still was hype now, but when I first saw it, there was nothing in the world comparable to that to me. Like that scene of like Krillin dying. Like I didn't cry, but I was like that. Like I was shocked. I was like shocked. Like that fucked me up. And then like seeing Goku's like emotion, like I started to get like really like hyped up about that. Like holy shit! Like his best friend just got killed in front of his face, and now he's like attaining this new power. Like that hype. And I like so when Tanjiro's like his sister's taken from him, or like someone's trying to literally take his sister from him, he's like absolutely not. Like get the fuck out of here. Like I'm not going to let you take my only. Like this is all I have left. This is all I have left, and you're going to try to take it. Like get the fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here. Yeah, beautiful scene.
Beautiful scene, beautiful episode. The music is amazing. Song of Kamado Tanjiro. If you haven't heard it, look it up on YouTube. But I'm sure if you're even listening to this episode, you definitely have actually seen Slayer to this point. You know that.
And just go watch it again because just go watch it again.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Yep, it's L'Oreal. It's fucking worth it. So let's go back to something we were talking about earlier. So Tanjiro ran into the main villain Muzan pretty early on. And one of my favorite tropes in anime, and I talk about this a lot with my friends, but I love it when the main character or the protagonist runs into the main villain too early, or like a really powerful character that they have no business fighting against early. An example of that is like in Bleach, Ichigo and Renji, they run into Aizen like pretty early. It's after Ichigo gets his Bankai though, so he thinks he's like hot shit. And Aizen is like, with one finger, Aizen literally like stops Ichigo's sword and breaks it with one finger.
Yo, that part.
I think he cuts his music off too.
That's what I was about to say. My favorite part about that scene is, first of all, I hate Ichigo's theme. It's like, if you want to see some action,
gotta be the center of attraction. It's so bad.
It's so bad. Awful.
Cringe.
But anyway, whenever that damn song came on, Ichigo was about to fuck some shit up. It was over, right?
Yeah, when that song came on, he definitely was about to do something. And that song came on, and he was in Bankai, and he was like, oh, I'm going to like stop Aizen or whatever. And Aizen literally with one finger just like pressed on his sword and broke it. And like he also broke
all that shit.
He also broke Renji's sword too. Like I think he like literally like ripped it apart or something. Like he like Renji's sword like got ripped up or whatever. And it just showed you
the
that
music stopped.
The music stopped.
The music stopped.
It got ruined. And I just love when it happens. Same thing in like Hunter x Hunter. When Gon and Killer were with Kite and they run into one of the Royal Guards, Pito, and it's like they're nowhere near her power level. Like they're nowhere near Kite's power level. Because Kite is out there killing officers and shit. Like he kills a whole bunch of the Chimera ants that are like really powerful. He just kills a bunch of them. And they run into a Royal Guard for the first time. And you realize there's no chance that they could beat her. Or
it's not even close.
It's not even close. Like Kite ends up dying to this damn Royal Guard Chimera ant. And so they don't stand a chance. And that concept of like running into a villain that's too powerful. Same thing in Naruto. Like Sasuke, Naruto, and everybody, they run into Orochimaru in the forest.
Yep. And the Forest of Death it was called, right?
Yeah, the Forest of Death. Like Orochimaru just so happens to be there. And like Sasuke tries to like fight him. Like he's so afraid of Orochimaru that he has to stab himself to like get his body to move, because literally the fear of dying is so overwhelming. Like Orochimaru is like, his murderous intent is that bad to the point where Sasuke was frozen with fear. He had to stab himself so that pain overwrites the fear so that he could even move his body. That's how powerful this like one legendary Sannin, right? You have no business fighting a Sannin. You're like a Chunin. He was a Genin.
He's not even a Chunin.
Yeah, he's a Genin. Yeah, he's a Genin running into a Sannin. Like it's just like the power gap is so large. You have no business fighting against something like that. Even Kakashi, a couple scenes earlier, Kakashi ran into Orochimaru, and like Kakashi literally said to himself, "I don't know what I was thinking. Like if I tried to fight Orochimaru, I would have died." Like he charged up a Chidori or whatever, and Orochimaru was like smiling at Kakashi, like. Kakashi just accepts, like, if I tried to fight him, I would 100% die. Like, there's no chance. So, like, Kakashi's a Jonin. Like, he's very powerful, but running into somebody like a villain like that super early can be just the end of the character. And the stakes are high. So, seeing Tanjiro run into Muzan was, like, really scary.
Yeah. Running, and then the way it was set up, too, like, he had just no business. They were just, like, out there, man. Like,
yeah.
They were just in the middle of a street. Like, the way it was...
Yeah, like he smelled them, right? Like that's what I think he got a whiff.
I think so. Yeah.
He said there's like this overwhelming, because he was just like chilling on a bench, and then he just got this overwhelming demon smell, and he like ran to it. He was like, that smells familiar, but it also smells extremely evil, basically. And he ran to it, and it just so happened to be the fucking main villain of the entire series, or at least right now. And
I'm gonna assume the whole series.
Yeah, I think so too. But you never know what plot twist may be waiting.
Yeah.
But like we can safely assume that Muzan, like he is the main villain. Like he.
Yep.
So yeah, the concept of running into a villain or someone really powerful early on is just like so cool in anime. I love it when that's done. Usually the main character or characters get bodied, and you get to see how far the power gap is. Like, you actually just stand no chance whatsoever. You need a lot more training. You
like
may
Zoro Mihawk.
Meet Zoro Mihawk. Like there's a chance you may never get as strong as this villain. Like you may actually go the entire series and never surpass this power. Like that actually could be a thing.
Yeah, that was cool, man. That was season one. Season one had some dope ass stuff. I really hope, as a side note, I hope season two. I haven't looked into it. I'm assuming it is. I'm hoping season two is still done by the same studio.
Yeah, I hope so too. I can't imagine them switching the animation or anything.
One thing that let me down with One Punch Man was season one. I think everybody really liked season one, but season two, although I still liked it, it was done by a different studio, and the animation just wasn't on par.
Yeah. Season one definitely had way better animation, no question. Like, no question. But I feel like Demon Slayer is so popular and it became so mainstream that I really don't imagine them dropping the ball, because One Punch Man isn't.
I don't think so.
Big.
Yeah, I don't think so. And we got the movie. We got the season one, and then the movie. Same studio. So I'm assuming season two, I could just look it up, but I'm assuming season two, same studio, and I'm assuming we're on a good track. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about the next thing is that Demon Slayer has. It's another anime trope is Hashira. Is like these super powerful versions of the main protagonist. They're like the legendary Sannin or the captains or the Shichibukai. They're like your typical where the future for the main character, where the bar, like where the bar is at, and this is what he's trying to work towards. Obviously, it should take him a very long time to get there, which is why I'm actually glad that they didn't let Tanjiro kill a lower moon.
Yes,
he ends up getting saved by his basically the first Hashira he runs into, Giyu, He comes out of nowhere.
And what's cool is him and Gyu have the same style.
Yeah, they both use water breathing. So it's like a blatant, like you can see, you couldn't even cut this Lower Moon's neck if you wanted to, and you had to use a buff from your sister's demon powers to even have a chance. You still failed. And then Gyu comes and literally does one slash.
Yep.
Total concentration, dead calm, one slash, and cuts Rui's head off for real. Like literally exterminates the guy. Like there's no question about it. There's none of this like, oh, I decapitated my own head. Like, no, he kills this Lower Moon with one slash. So that tells you a couple things, because now you see like, holy shit, the main character struggled a lot. But it also tells you that the Hashiras are like really powerful, because I thought that it was going to be a fight. Like I thought that they were going to go back and forth.
No, it wasn't. It was nothing. It was a fucking joke.
In fact, it was so bad that at one point Rui did like his ultimate attack. Like he like did a Kamehameha ball thing of like blood strings and shot it at. It was huge, and he like shot it at Gyu, and Gyu just like stood there, and like it just disintegrated. Like
it was not even close.
It just disintegrated, and Rui was like, "What the fuck?" Like that was like he even said like that was like my strongest strength. Like those were my strongest strings, and nothing happened. He's like he barely even moved. So it just shows you the gap in power, because if Tanjiro got hit by that same attack, he would have been literally eviscerated.
Yeah, it would have been a wrap. So yeah, that's cool, because the Hashira, because the first one you get introduced to is Gyu, and he's water just like Tanjiro. They both have water breathing. And then they show you a couple more. They show you the girl, I forgot her name, the poison girl.
Oh, yeah, I like her a lot. Let me see. Let me figure out what her name is.
Yeah, her blade's interesting too, as he remembers her name, looks it up. Her blade's interesting. It's got and so as we were saying, like instead of the colored blades like yellow, green, or red or black or whatever, her blade is like empty. So it's like she's got the back end of the blade, right? Like the structure of the sword, so to speak.
Yeah.
But where the blade would be, there's nothing there. Like where the actual sharp
Shinobu,
part of the sword. Yeah, Shinobu. Where the actual sharp part of the sword would be on her sword, it's just like empty.
Her sword is kind of like a keyblade. It kind of looks like a keyblade. Like
it
has like a hook to it.
It's like a skinny keyblade.
And apparently it can't, like she cannot decapitate demons as far as we know. Like that's how they present her to us. She can't decapitate demons, but her blade has poison in it. And the poison, the wisteria poison, it's from a wisteria plant that like is poisonous to demons. It kind of wards off demons in this world. And her blade is like infused with that. So when she slices demons, they get inflicted with the poison and it kills them, even though she can't decapitate them. So she's a Hashira, and it's kind of interesting because she's like normally demon slayers, they have to decapitate. Like that is like how you kill demons. You cut the head off, the demon dies. You cut anything else, the demon can actually regenerate. So it's really interesting that like you have one Hashira so far that literally cannot decapitate demons, but she's still strong enough to be considered a Hashira, even though Hashiras, they're not equal. They're definitely not equal. Like you can tell that Gyu is stronger than her. Like you can just tell.
Yeah, Gyu's the man.
Yeah, you can just tell that he's way stronger than like at least her. Like he probably some of the other ones, but
yeah. And toward the end of the season, we get to see. I think we see all of them.
You see all of them, yeah. And that shit's cool. I love that. I love that whole. Like when you first see all the Espada at the table in Bleach, it's kind of like you get that same thing. Like they introduce one by one. Here are all of the Hashiras, and they all look really cool. They all have different they all have different like breathing techniques and stuff like that. They all have different swords, and they all have different, like obviously they have very different personalities. Some of them are really mean, like Sanemi, the one guy who like tries to get Nezuko to act up so he can kill her. He like antagonizes Nezuko, and he antagonizes Tanjiro. Like he's just an asshole. Whereas some of the other ones are just like calm about it. They're like, if this is what the master says, then we have to let it go. But he's like, no, I'm going to show you like this fucking demon needs to be eradicated like every other demon. Tanjiro committed a crime. Like he should be punished and everything. Like he's just like really forcing the issue, even though everyone else is not everyone else is kind of like Giyu's vouching for him. Like, yo, it's fine. Like she's actually like I'm vouching that she's actually fine. But he's like, no, she'll attack me. Look at
also hold on, not even vouch that she's fine. They have like they basically signed a contract that if Nezuko ever harms a human, Tanjiro, Giyu, and their master will all kill themselves.
Yes.
You remember that?
Wild. Yeah, actually,
like there's like a letter where they say like
that's wild.
If she hurts a human, like all three of them, Ahashira, her brother, and the master that trained both of them will kill themselves.
Wow. That's
like
insane.
they all are staking their absolute life on it. So.
Yeah, so like it's a big deal that she never does that, which she's been really good at so far. I don't really foresee that happening. And she's been also going out of her way to protect them, which is amazing because she actually provides like something in the show. Like she's actually good in combat. She's actually pretty scary in combat. When he fought the demons with the arrow and the balls. Nezuko, like she like was strong as shit.
Yeah. I like when she goes to like kick the one ball and her fucking leg gets kicked, her leg gets blown off, and then like, pretty sure she grows her leg back and tries to fucking kick it again. Like,
yeah, she just doesn't care. Like and then at some point she actually does like kick it. Like she just gets like stronger. Like she blatantly, even though she doesn't consume blood, she's somehow like a really, really strong demon. And people are usually like shocked by it. Like they're usually taken aback by like, oh shit.
She's really cool. I do like Nezuko, even though her character is fairly like simple. Like there's not much characters.
Yeah, because she doesn't speak.
She doesn't ever say anything. Yeah, it's all just like reading her emotions. But her personality thus far has been fairly straightforward. Like she's cute. Right. She does little funny things with her brother. She protects him, and she'll get angry. So like she's a fairly simple character. There's not like a ton to read into at the moment.
Right.
But she's an enjoyable character. Like I do really like her.
She's cool. And then you have the side. So you have the two other protagonists. You have Zenitsu, who does lightning breathing. Or is it called thunder breathing? I forget.
It's one of the two. I think I usually say thunder, but
okay, it's probably thunder breathing. But yeah, he has like thunder breathing, and then you have the other one, Inosuke, who does beast breathing.
Self-taught.
Yes. So we can talk about their personality. So Zenitsu is like your typical super horny, weird anime character. He kind of reminds me of the character from My Hero Academia, Mineta, with the purple balls all over his head.
Yeah.
He's like a bit of a pervert. He really, really has the hots for Tanjiro's sister.
Yep.
Like when he first finds out that Tanjiro is carrying around Nezuko in like his little wooden box on his back, he like is blown away. You've been carrying around this hot thing this whole time.
Yeah.
Like he's like right at her. Like he's like absolutely trying to like win her affection and like be really nice to her. But normally he's a coward.
Normally.
Under normal circumstances, he literally is a coward. Go ahead.
All right, I'll take this opportunity to bring up my disdain for this character.
I love Zenitsu.
So here's one of my. We've mostly been praising Demon Slayer. One of my things that I kind of don't like about it is Zenitsu and Inosuke. They both have some things that I do like, and over time they're growing on me a little bit more.
Yeah,
but in general, they fucking annoy me.
I don't like Inosuke, so I'll let you go ahead.
But for Zenitsu, for example, something that frustrates me about him, first of all, he just is always bitching. He's just always bitching.
He's
and
an
crying.
Extreme coward. He will not fight. Like
absurd coward, and that's fine. You guys know one of my favorite anime is One Piece. One of my favorite characters is Usopp, who's a super coward. But the thing is, in Usopp's case, he's an absolute coward, and that cowardice gets him in situations where like he runs away from his friends for a moment or whatever, but then he like turns around and like even really early on, like he fights characters he has no business fighting and uses his wits to get around it. But we know Usopp, like he's not strong,
right.
And he has to like really like try, and he gets fucked up in the process of like trying to be there for his friends. The thing about Zenitsu is like, he's also a super coward. And like, there's a point where they're in like this house that's controlled by this demon. And like, there's a point where legitimately he's like, he's going to just like let a 10-year-old protect him. I'm assuming 16 or whatever. But there's a point where he's such a little bitch where he's hiding behind a 10-year-old and there's all this other shit. But here's the rub for me is that as much of a coward as he is, I know that he's broken.
Yes.
And
he
that
randomly has this sleeping. He has like a thing where when he's unconscious or like kinda unconscious, he can tap into this power where he just decapitates demons in a flash.
He's broken.
Like absolutely outrageous. Like I don't even know if Tanjiro can do anything. Like Zenitsu's, when he activates, I'll call it, like it's actually I don't think Tanjiro's not anything that's on a level of like outside.
I don't think so either.
Outside of sun breathing, there's nothing on the level of that shit that Zenitsu does when he's mad, like or when he's unconscious. Like it's actually
when he falls asleep, he's unfair, and that's the thing. So I don't know, maybe but overall, like he's always bitching and crying and complaining, and that just annoys me. But then it's also the character becomes less believable for me because I know that he's broken. I understand that he doesn't know that he's broken.
Right. But it's like he doesn't understand because he's.
But it's just like frustrating to me because I'm like, God damn! Like,
you're hoping that at some point that maybe he'll like acknowledge that he is this strong ass swordsman.
I want him to grow. Also, here's the other thing that's weird to me. I guess like he's not tapped into it, but they show early on and throughout the series that Tanjiro has an absurdly strong sense of smell. Right. They kind of show that Inosuke has a very strong sense of hearing. Yeah. He's able to hear even when he's sleeping. There's parts where he's sleeping normally and he's able to hear. And, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like if when he's sleeping and unconscious, he turns into Superman, like, why doesn't he know why doesn't he hear it? I don't know.
Right.
But because they show that he can hear even when he's sleeping, but that's a side note. The other thing you mentioned when he first sees Nezuko and he's all horny and shit.
Oh, right? he loses
that moment though. Before that is amazing. That's one of his best moments where, even though he's a coward, he's defending the box because this is when they first meet Inosuke. Inosuke can tell there's a demon in the box and is trying to kill her.
Yeah,
and he's defending the box and he gets all fucked up. And I like that moment. I was like, I looked at it as like Zenitsu's like growing. There's like some growth here. But then I feel like after that scene, we didn't really get that again. He kind of just went back to being scared of everything.
Yeah,
it didn't take that as a moment to like grow more.
Yeah, and I mean it's still pretty early.
It is.
I have hopes for him. I like him as a character because I think he's funny as hell. Like
he does have some funny moments.
I find myself actually laughing out loud when I'm watching Demon Slayer because of how ridiculous he is. Like he's he's annoying. Like I would find in real life, I would hate him. He would be very he's an annoying person, but something about his whiny ass Japanese voice and like the way he like speaks, and then when he gets all like, oh, but I love Nezuko. Like it just, I don't know. He's just funny to me. Like I can't deal.
He's got some funny. Overall, he frustrates me, but like he's grown on me a little bit, but overall he frustrates me.
So then there's Inosuke who's like, he comes out of nowhere. He's a bit more polished, I would say, than Zenitsu because he's aware of how strong he is, even though he suffers from delusions of grandeur a bit. Like he thinks he's stronger than he actually is. Like he thinks in his head, he might think he's Hashira level.
Until he met the Hashira, because you showed him what's up.
He
showed him what's up.
But he thinks that he's like Hashira level, basically. Like in his head, he's like has a very inflated ego. He really believes that he's outrageously strong, and he really puts himself in a competition with Tanjiro from the start.
Yeah,
like he kind of has this complex where like he always has to feel like I'm better than you. I can do this better than you. I can kill more demons than you. I can do it faster than you. I can jump higher than you. Like everything about him is like and Tanjiro kind of just disregards it. Like he does not give a shit about Inosuke's like little competition with himself, because that's honestly who he's in competition with. Tanjiro is not even paying him any mind. Like, but he constantly is in competition with the main character, and we have that a lot in shonen animes. You have like Naruto, Sasuke, you have Goku, Vegeta, that whole thing. But like Vegeta's always trying to be like, oh, I'm stronger than you, Kakarot, and Goku's just kind of like, in a way, he just kind of like ignores it almost.
Yeah,
he's kind of like, yeah, like whatever. Like I'm not even going to show you I have another form. Like I can turn up. Like I can turn up a bit more. Like I can turn up. I'm just not going to. Like I don't have to prove it to you because I already know. Like I'm actually just stronger than you, dog. Like there's nothing that you've shown us that like gives me the reason to believe that you're stronger than me. So Tanjiro just kind of carries it like that. Like I just ignore you. But Inosuke wears like this boar head thing. Has two blades, so I kind of like that about him. But
yeah, Inosuke's once again like Zenitsu. They both grown on me a little bit. They're kind of cool. Like there's parts about them I kind of like, but
they're very exaggerated characters.
They're so exaggerated.
They're like they're the extreme versions of the trope that they are. Like one is like the coward, coward who's like super horny, and then the other one is like the competitive spirit, super macho. Like like they're like so exaggerated that they're like caricatures. Like they're not even real.
Yeah.
Like they're not believable characters at all. Like you said, it's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah, I just want them to have. I want their character arcs to really, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. but I just really want their character arcs to mean something, and I want the things that happen to them to mean something. Because, like I said,
like more development. Yeah,
the moment where he protected Nezuko, and he didn't even know what was in the box. Like, he wasn't horny yet. He didn't know Nezuko. He just knew that Tanjiro like protected that box with his life, and it meant more to him. And so, like, he protected that box. And that moment I thought was really, really great for him. But I feel like going forward, there wasn't much growth for his character that was informed by that moment. And instead, he just like was now horny and like would protect Nezuko because he's horny. Yes. Like, that was kind of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the side characters. They are interesting and they're entertaining. Yeah. They don't have too much depth just yet, but that's just kind of the nature
season one. I'm assuming season 2 and going forward, they'll get more.
Yeah. So how do you feel about like Demon Slayer compared to other anime that, you know, are all about swords like Bleach, Samurai Champloo, Rurouni Kenshin?
I think it's cool. One thing I like, I mean, in general, like a lot of anime have swords, right? Like Japan, swords, that's their history.
Yeah. And this anime seems to focus heavily on like swords are like the main thing because that's how you kill.
And it's cool. I like. They don't ever call each other they're not samurai, but like they're samurai. They're using as Americans would say a samurai sword.
Right.
But no, it's cool. Like Kenshin, Champloo, Bleach. I would say it's most comparable to, I guess, Bleach because it's like swords with magic powers.
Yeah. They have like the swords kind of have abilities too. Like well, not the sword, but like the person wielding the sword has like abilities like the water breathing. When you see it, it looks really cool. The animation and like the water.
I like that it looks like this traditional Japanese art water. Like the way the water looks.
So beautiful.
It's so tight looking.
Someone said something to me that I never really went to verify. But I want to know what your thoughts on this. Like they said that when they're doing like water breathing and shit like that, it's not actually happening. There's not actually water anywhere. Like they're not. Tanjiro and Giyu are not actually creating water when you see the slashes with all the water. It's actually just like for the purpose of just the art, like just the art for our viewing pleasure. It's not actually water. And I don't remember if there's like, do we actually see water at any point come out from these blades? Like, do we actually see like the ground is wet after they like kill a demon or something like that?
I don't know for sure, but I think...
Let us know what you guys think.
I think that it's real. The reason why I think that it's real is because I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the sun breathe, like I feel like that was actually fire. Like, because he doesn't, when he does it, so when he does it, I think it's real. And this is why I think it's real. Because when Tanjiro does the sun breathe, he doesn't know it's called sun breathing. We don't find that out to the movie or whatever. When he does that technique, he thinks he's doing fire breathing. Why would he think he's doing fire breathing unless he saw fire? Like if he was just moving his sword and the fire was there as an aesthetic for the viewer, he was just moving his sword, then there would be no because he didn't know the name of it. There'd be no reason for him to think he was doing a fire technique unless there was fire there. So I think the elements are real because otherwise there's no reason why he would think he was doing fire breathing.
Yeah, like I have to go back and I need to rewatch it. I've only watched Demon Slayer once. But I want to go back and see like if there's evidence of maybe the lightning breathing actually having like actual, thunder effects on the ground and stuff like that, or like the water breathing leaving any kind of water at any point. Yeah. And if the sun breathing or fire breathing actually leaves fire anywhere. I can't remember. Even in Mugen Train, which we can go into that. We can go into that now too. But when you see the Flame Hashira doing his thing on the train, like I don't remember if there's actually like fire. Like it didn't, at least it didn't spread to the seats or anything like that. I don't think.
Yeah, because I think it's controlled. Like he's got control over it.
He's very. I mean, he's a Hashira, right? So he's insane. Let's go into Mugen Train now. Let's. All right. We might as well get into it. So Mugen Train came out like over a month ago now. I feel like it's been out.
It's got to be even more than that now.
Yeah, it's been a couple months, and movie. So like, oh man,
I got a story about that movie.
Oh, go ahead.
This is why. I think for a long time, I've been a nerd. I've been in anime. And for a long time, like, there's so many times where I've seen something and I know that, like, living in America, there's so many people that, like, make fun of it, call it a cartoon or whatever, or, like, don't respect it, won't give it the time of day because it's not, like, real. It's not, like, a real story or real medium or whatever. And, like, for example, Cowboy Bebop, I've said for a long, like, if Cowboy Bebop was just an HBO show, everybody would love it. Right. Like, it'd be super nut ridden. My point that I'm getting to is that when I saw Mugen Train, it was another evidence that kind of proved to me how fucking good it is and how good anime as a medium is for storytelling. So I went to go see Mugen Train with my younger brother, who's like 10, two of his friends, and my mom. So we all go. My mom had zero. She doesn't watch it. She doesn't watch TV really. So she's sitting there. Her full plan was just sleep in the theater. Like that was her plan, was to sleep in the theater. The kids were going to watch it, have fun. There's a lot that happens in Mugen Train we can talk about, but she's watching it. And there's parts where she's legitimate. Her favorite character is Inosuke. Like there's parts where she was literally laughing. She used to call him, what was she calling him? She was calling him like Boar Wolf. Like she didn't know his name. She was like Boar Wolf or whatever. But she was like she legitimately laughed at Inosuke a bunch, like thought he was funny. Didn't fully understand everything that was going on.
She like the concept of what Demon Slayer is about and think she's just here to take the kids and like.
But she legitimately ended up watching the movie, and then spoilers for the end of the movie. Just I'm going to skip real quick just for the point of the story. But there's a point in the movie where Rengoku thinks about his mom, and there's a flashback. My mom fucking cried at that scene, like legitimately cried watching it. And now you could argue like, well, she's a mom and she has kids, but that's my point. My point is like, these stories are still stories. Like they're anime, they're cartoons, whatever, but like they're still writing and stories in them. They still make people feel emotions. Like she, as a person who's she didn't see season 1, she doesn't watch anime, she doesn't care about it. She cried watching that scene. You know what I mean?
That's pretty insane.
She cried watching it. So like, if
like
it was just
never
a cartoon,
seen any of Demon Slayer at all, watched the Demon Slayer movie and cried like that.
Yeah, like that tells me like whether or not you like Demon Slayer or whatever, like there's like real heart that goes into telling these stories, and I just
I do think that like they do a good job at conveying emotion, because I have not teared up from an anime in I don't even know the last anime that made me like really tear up, but seeing episode 19 like again, like that really got to me. And there's parts of the movie for me, the end of the movie made me tear up before a different scene, which we'll talk about. But I definitely get that. Like it kind of just translates to people that the way the story is told. It allows anyone to really get into it almost immediately. It's very simple. It's not hard to follow. It's not super pretentious. And it's not super detailed either. So you have to like keep it in that realm of, this isn't the most well thought out, well planned anime of all time, right? Like Demon Slayer story is not unique in any kind of way. It's a lot of cliches, but it's good at what it does, and it's very entertaining. Like it is definitely not.
I agree.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not the
like, it's not going to be, it's not, at least right now, maybe as fucking seasons go on, some wild shit happens. But as of right now, it's probably not even in my top 10.
Yeah. Like it's not,
but
it's not,
I still really, 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 really like it.
Exactly. It's not the deepest shonen I've ever seen. Like I said, it's very cliche, but I do enjoy it because one, the animation is amazing. The fights are amazing. The characters are funny. They're entertaining. The villains are actually just fucking scary. Like I love a good villain. If the villain doesn't like instill fear in me when I see them, like if I don't feel like that there's stakes in, like there's real stakes, like the main characters could actually die, or like someone important could actually die because this guy's on screen. If I don't feel that way, then I kind of just don't believe in the villains, and it just kind of makes it hard to connect to the story. But
you gotta feel like people can die. Like I don't think like Zenitsu, Inosuke, Tanjiro, like I don't think any of them are going to die throughout the series. Yeah. But you gotta feel like they could die.
Yes. There should be some legitimate fear that like one of these characters could just actually get killed. And later on, it's very possible that could be a thing. Like right now, obviously we don't expect any of the main 3 characters to die, but like this is a pretty dark fucking story. It started off with this guy's entire family getting killed minus one person. So there's a chance. But the Demon Slayer movie is basically about the lower moon that Muzan actually allowed to live. So he killed all of them. Like the remaining lower moons that were after Rui, he killed every single one and left. He gave one of them his blood to make him stronger. And he told him to like, look, you need to, one, kill the boy with the Hane Fude earrings, which that's like the command for everybody, but also to like go and kill a Hashira. Like it's embarrassing that you guys have not been able to fucking kill a Hashira. Like
none of the lower moon have ever killed a Hashira, and they've all been killed by Hashira.
Right.
And all of the upper moons, I believe, have killed at least one Hashira.
Right.
in their hundreds of years.
Yeah, so he's on it, like, so he takes control of this train that they're on. Tanjiro wants to learn about the sun breathing, so he goes to the flame hosher who happens to be on this train, and he asks him, like, can you tell me about sun breathing? And basically the flame hosher tells him, I actually don't know anything about that. Like, in all honesty, what I do and what your father did are two very different things. So like he really doesn't get much help from this hosher in the way of improving on that technique, or like, figuring out how that technique works or where it comes from. Like the flame hosher tells him, like, yeah, me and your dad do two different things.
Yeah. Because I think at the time he still thinks it's called fire breathing.
Yep.
And he asks him, like, is this fire breathing? And I think he says, like, I do flame breathing. I think they make like a distinction.
Yeah, there's a big distinction between the type of breathing that the flame hosher does and what Tanjiro specifically wants to learn about, which is Hinokami Kagura.
Yeah, and dude, okay, so fucking Rengoku, right? That's the guy, that's the Hashira, that's the flame Hashira.
Yes.
When the movie starts, it's funny. I remember going back to my mom. My mom said when he gets introduced, he's just like big wide-eyed, and he's like, yes, like whatever he's doing. I forget what he's saying.
He's really weird. Yeah, he says yes to everything.
He's like super weird when he gets introduced. I remember my mom saying like after seeing him and then like something else happened, she was like under her breath, she was like, this is psychopathic. Like she was like, what is going on?
Yeah, like his personality is bizarre as fuck.
But they introduce him like super weird and funny, and then like a lot of crazy shit happens, and I don't know, throughout the course of the movie, he is the shit.
Yeah, like the second, so immediately the movie kicks off as soon as they get attacked by demons, which happens really early.
Yep.
Some demons attack the people on the train, and the flame Hashira just steps in and starts his nonsense. And he starts fucking offing these demons so quick. Them up. Yeah, I mean, it's just like he gives them all like one slash, super crazy fire. It looks really, really well animated, and he doesn't struggle at all. He's also super fast. So he
fast ain't though, dude. There's a part where like
he's like, I'm going to go to this section of the train.
They're like talking about how to deal with a demon. He shows up, dispatches them, and then he's like, yeah, I just went through 4 other cars. I gave them the plan. Like,
yeah, he's like,
nuts. I've been through the train. Like, it's all good.
He's nuts. Like, he literally can travel through the cars of the train, like at crazy speeds. He's extremely powerful. There's no fear of like anything bad happening to him. These demons are all too weak. But then you're wondering about the lower moon, who like is actually the main antagonist on this train. Come to find out, this lower moon is actually fused with the train, and he like had a plan to put everybody on the train asleep, and he was going to kill them that way because he's kind of like a coward in a way. Like, he didn't want to fight the Hashira. He figured like, okay, I can kill this guy, but I don't have to fight this guy. I can just let him go to sleep and I can kill him, and I can get an easy kill. So he puts everybody to sleep, which actually works, which I was surprised about, that the Hashira was susceptible to that sleep spell, but it does work. And the only reason that everyone gets out of it is because Nezuko kind of helps. Tanjiro breaks out of it because he's a psycho. And
important thing to know, even though the sleep spell worked, something that's cool is that like, even though he was in the spell and put to sleep, while asleep, he grips up the girl. There's like one of the girls that are trying to like kill him or whatever, sever his soul or whatever.
Yeah.
And he like grips her up and starts choking her. And then like, he's still asleep, but he makes it so that like nobody can
harm him, basically.
Harm him.
Yeah, he's choking the shit out of this girl. It's actually like, okay.
Yeah. And then Tanjiro they're all in a dream. And then the point of the dream is that these people that were working for the lower moon sneak into the dream and are like trying to destroy their soul or whatever.
Yeah.
Some shit. And we see all of their dreams, but we mostly focus on Tanjiro's dream. And it's like him with his family and everything. And
yeah, it's so sad too.
It's pretty sad. And then
Tanjiro's dream is so sad because he wants that family back and he can't believe that they're alive again. And he's having such a good time with them. And
he feels like, because at the moment in the dream, he's not a demon slayer. It's like nothing ever changed. Right. But then there's glimpses that break through. Like, he's like, where's Nezuko? And they're like, oh, she's out in the mountain. She's like, in the daytime? And they're like, yeah, in the daytime. Why? And he was like, I don't. So like, he doesn't he has a reaction that Nezuko shouldn't be out in the daytime, but then he's like, I don't know why I had that reaction. And
he's slowly realizing that something is
like
off.
Starting to crack through. Yeah.
And it's sad too, because it gets to a point where he realizes this isn't real. You guys are actually gone, and I have to let you go.
Yes.
And that losing his family twice is emotional as fuck. So that was actually really sad.
And then the way he breaks out of it, he ends up like he's talking to his dad, like he sees his dad in the dream. And so basically the way he wakes up he kills himself. Like in the dream, he takes the sword to his neck and he cuts through his neck. And like the idea is like that pain or what, like that's what forces him awake.
Yeah. It wakes him up.
And that leads into an amazing moment. And one of Inosuke's best moments as well is going forward when they actually straight up fight the lower moon. He has like these eyes or whatever, and
that
like
puts
every
you to
time
sleep immediately.
Yeah, just immediately puts you to sleep.
If you make contact with these eyes, like
falling asleep and then immediately waking up. And what they show is that he's committing suicide.
He's a psycho. He just straight up killing himself. He like falls asleep at it and just wakes up from killing himself. And it's like,
and then the guy's like, how the fuck is this happening? Like, how does he keep waking up? And he keeps doing it. And there's a part where he changes the dream to make his family like really hateful. And then he wakes up and he's like, don't you fucking ever put those words in my family.
Tanjiro is really big on family. Like, I think that's one of his defining characteristics.
Fucking ever.
Yeah, I like that about him.
And then a cool thing is Inosuke never gets put to sleep again, like because he has the mask on and also like he's got really sharp instincts. He ends up never falling asleep. He dodges the gaze of the eyes every single time.
Yep.
And it gets to the end where Tanjiro's at the bottom and he's about to cut his head. He thinks he's asleep and he's not asleep. He thinks the spell's on him and he's about to cut his head off. And Inosuke's like stops him and he's like, "You're still awake." And it just like has a moment where it's like, I don't know, it's just like really.
I knew that shit was coming too. When I was watching the movie and he kept killing himself, I said, he's going to make a dream that seems like it's just where they are right now currently. Like the dream is not going to actually be with his family. The dream is going to be you're on this train, but it's actually like not at all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like you make the dream what reality is. So that way you can't tell the difference. And I was like, he's going to try to get him to kill himself, and it actually happened. I was like, "Oh, okay.
Really, like he really almost killed himself." For real.
that was really good. And then, so they end up like overcoming this lower moon and killing him.
Yeah,
like they actually finish him on their own, right? Like they don't even Flame Hashira doesn't. He doesn't even get involved. They kill teamwork. Him.
They kill that lower moon.
Yeah, they kill lower moon with the teamwork, which was good. And then after that, the train is like really wrecked. After everything that's happened, because the demon it was actually fused with the train, so it like morphed it made it like go really fast and all this other shit. And basically when a demon gets killed, the train, they have to like stop it because it's like going crazy and they want to save all the passengers and everything. So they like come to a stop and they want to like, help everybody who's been injured, like get everybody to safety, that type of thing. Like, make sure there's no other demons around, do what demon slayers are pretty much supposed to do.
Yeah. Just clean up and shit.
And here's what a real part of
this is one of the coolest parts of the movie.
Like,
so real quick, before when I'm watching this, I'm like a little confused because I'm like, is the movie over? Like, because they beat like what is
the main purpose of the
villain.
Movie,
the main purpose of the
villain. It's called Mugen Train, and they beat the train.
Yeah,
like
they clear the goal of the movie, right? And so I'm watching it and I'm super interested and I'm like, what's going to happen next? Because like, is the movie done? And then go ahead, like they move in.
Yeah, so because of how cliche Demon Slayer is, I felt like something bad was going to happen. I also was kind of like aware of the time that had passed. I was like, the movie's not over yet. Like it's been like it's only.
That's what I'm saying. I was a little confused. I was like, there's no way the movie's over yet. Like, it just started.
So when the train came to a stop, I kept thinking to myself, like, what's the worst thing that can happen right here? And as I was having that thought, I didn't get a chance to like really fully like think about like because it just happened. A fucking upper moon appears.
Yeah, baby. I think it's Upper Moon 3.
It is,
or whatever.
He has the number because they have. So in their eyes, they have the number that they are tattooed, I think.
Yeah.
And so like literally this fucking Upper Moon number 3. So he's in the top half of the uppers. Like, there's 6 of them. He's in the top half. So he's from the gate, you just know, like, oh shit,
This motherfucker is clean.
this is about to be bad. And I was like, I got a hint. I was like, okay, I know where this is about to go. Rengoku's going to fight this guy, obviously, and it's probably not going to go the way we want it to go, because you can just feel there's been a lot of backstory on Rengoku about how the disappointment of his family, like the disappointment that his family had for him and stuff like that, how he was trying to like live up to certain standards that he couldn't do. And him becoming a demon slayer was like not exactly ideal. So you get all this backstory about him in this movie, and you know what happens in anime when you get too much backstory. So I'm watching this upper moon appear, and he looks psychopathic. He actually, to me, looks very similar to Sanemi, the Hashira, who's like crazy in the face. He's the Wind Hashira, I believe. He looks kind of like him. Like he has that craze in his eyes, like this, like you could just tell it, like violence or whatever. Like there's something that pleases him about violence.
Yeah, and he loves combat. Like he's a straight martial artist.
Yep, he wants to convert Rengoku to a demon. So his whole point, that like the reason why he really came is like, I want to recruit you as like one of the, maybe upper moons, I guess, because Rengoku is really powerful. I can't imagine him being anything less than upper moon.
But and he's like, saying like, you're so powerful, like this is the flaw of humans. Like you're going to die. He was like, why let all this power go to waste? Like you're going to get old and die, become a demon, live for hundreds of years, like see how far you can bring your power. You know what I mean?
And Rengoku's like, absolutely not. I'm a fucking demon slayer. I'm not trying to hear any of this. Like his resolve is unwavering. He is not hearing any of it. And they start fighting. And it is fucking epic. It's animated beautifully. They're moving at lightning speed. Tanjiro is watching. Tanjiro also, because he exerted himself, like he can't even move.
Yeah, he's exhausted.
He's super exhausted. Did he do the sun breathing in this movie?
I don't remember if he did or not.
But he's like, for whatever reason, Tanjiro's like super exhausted. Like he can't even fight. And so he has to watch. And like
I think he got injured. Didn't he get stabbed in the gut?
He did get fucked up. Like the upper, like the lower moon definitely like inflicted some wounds on him. Like it wasn't like he just like straight up killed the lower moon with no repercussions. Like he definitely suffered some. But for whatever reason, he cannot fight. So he's forced to just watch Rengoku fight against this upper moon level 3. And they're going at it. I mean, Rengoku's pulling all kinds of crazy fire moves, all types of crazy fire breathing. And he's like, he cut the upper moon's arm off like really early in the fight. And what's scary is that the upper moon just kind of like smirks, jumps back, and then regrows his arm immediately.
Yeah, no time delay. It's just like it's back.
Yeah, like he just immediately regrows his arm, which in Demon Slayer, the demons can regenerate, but it takes time usually. We've seen demons regenerate, and it took them like a while before they actually regenerated their limbs. But this guy, when I say it was immediate, it was like instantaneous. His arm was cut off, and he just was like, "Oh, that's not a problem." And he just forces a new arm out. It's fucking lightning speed. It was crazy. So like you already know this is bad, and he's like smiling too. Like the thing that scared me about this guy is that he's literally smiling.
He was loving every moment of the fight. He was having nothing but fun.
He was like, "Wow, you're really powerful. Like I've never fought." I think he said, "I've never fought a flame hosher. Like you're the first flame hosher I ever came across." Like,
yep.
He was like very intrigued by him, wanted to convert him. And so as they're fighting, he inflicts a wound on Rengoku, and he tells him like, "Look at this. You are weak because you don't heal like I do. Like demons can just heal. Like that wound I just inflicted on you is nothing. Like, but to you, you have like, I broke your ribs, I crushed your lungs, I pierced your like I pierced your abdomen. Like you will die from these wounds eventually. But demons, we don't have this problem." So he tries to explain to him like, "You can train with me every day. We can live forever. We can do what we want. We're at the top of the food chain, basically." Like he tries to really sell it to Rengoku, and Rengoku again resolve unwavering, but he's really trying to sell it to him that like being a demon is just way better than being a human.
Yeah, and Rengoku keeps his humanity. He thinks about his mom, and like he wants to, something important. Like one of the things that keeps Rengoku's resolve is like he thinks back on his mom, and his mom tells him, because like Rengoku is. I think even from a child he was strong, but like
he was.
His dad didn't want him to be a demon slayer and stuff, and there was like some tension there, and he just really wanted to make his dad proud and happy, and become really strong. But then also his mom like asked him like, why are you strong? Or like, what's the point in being strong and stuff? And like, he didn't know the answer. And his mom tells him like the reason why you're strong, like the strong, like protect the weak. Like essentially, I don't remember the exact quote, but basically like, don't be a bully. You don't ever use your power to hold it over other people. Like use your power to protect people, to help people. And like his mom like teaches him like what like the beauty of humanity is and the beauty of power. And that's kind of like, that's part of the resolve in Rengoku, is that like, yeah, he's strong. Yeah, he's powerful. He's got all these things, but like becoming a demon and doing what this demon wants is not like what power means to him, and like what his mom kind of like imbued into him. And it's a heartwarming moment.
It's really good. So I mean, they're fighting and going back and forth, and every crazy ass wound that he inflicts on the demon, the guy just heals it like almost immediately. It's nothing to him. He almost never gets really like in any kind of danger. And then it gets to a point where you can tell Rengoku's losing the fight because he just has so many wounds they're pretty fucking serious.
He's hurt bad.
Even the demon is telling him like, listen, if you don't stop and choose to be converted, you're going to die. Like, I'm going to kill you. At one point, I think he sticks his whole arm through Rengoku, and he's like, if I pull my arm out, you are going to die. Like, do you understand that? Like, do you understand that right now?
That's the end of the fight.
Yeah. He's like, this is the decision you have to make. And Rengoku, even still facing death, he does like a final technique. It's like a final explosion type of thing. Like he just ignites and just goes crazy, fire, crazy town nonsense. And I thought like, maybe this is going to be like a moment where he does some kind of crazy fire move that burns him up, but also kills the upper moon too. Right. Like I was expecting like that cliche, like, we're going out together in flames. Like I thought that he was gonna I thought that he was gonna like fire up so much that like he literally engulfed the upper moon and killed him with him. Like they died together. They both turned to ashes. But just like Demon Slayer sometimes surprises you, the upper moon just completely survives everything that Rengoku does. And the only thing that like kind of stops this guy from going on a further rampage and like killing everybody there, like Tanjiro and all the humans, is that the sun starts to come out. And at this time, I didn't go ahead.
Well, this is when the cool thing about this is like they've been fighting, they've been rumbling, right?
Yeah, they've been going.
And then like Rengoku has sustained a ton of injuries, but now like the upper moon, I'm pretty sure at this point he's got his arm through Rengoku's chest.
Yes,
and he's sitting there, but then Rengoku's still not giving up, and he's like holding him, and he's got him locked the fuck down. And that's when the sun starts coming up, and the guy like needs to retreat because he's a demon. He's going to die in the sunlight, and Rengoku's just like holding him and like not letting him.
Yeah, go. He's like, I'm going to hold on until the sun comes up, and you will die.
You will die.
And Rengoku's like accepting, like I'm going to die too, but like I'm going to kill at least you, and I'm going to protect everybody on this train because that's what he was like. That's his thing. Like everybody's going to be protected. There will be no casualties.
There was 0 deaths. There was 0 fucking deaths.
Yes.
Like,
so
nobody got injured on the train.
A couple things to take from this upper moon appearing out of nowhere and like killing a Hashira. So one, you really get to see that the upper moons are the real deal, right? Like this is your first introduction. They're the real deal. One of them killed the Hashira. And I'm gonna be honest, he didn't really struggle with Rengoku. Like, if we're being completely honest, I tell people all the time when I talk about this movie, he really wasn't trying to straight up kill Rengoku from the gate. Like, to me, he was doing the thing that's much harder, which is I'm trying to not kill you. I'm trying to...
he was rumbling and he wanted to recruit him.
Yeah, like, I'm not trying to straight up kill you because, let's put it this way, guys. We know that demons have this blood demon art nonsense, which is like an extra power. He didn't use that. Like, he didn't really do...
He didn't. He did one of his arts. I forget what it was called. It was called,
but it wasn't his blood demon art though.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
He was doing like some cool like punch moves and stuff like that, some martial arts shit. But at no point did he say like blood demon art. So that's bad.
Yeah.
Because that means that he beat him without like essentially releasing his sword in Bleach. Like he basically didn't use his resurrection or whatever. Which is scary because Rengoku really did turn up on him. Like he did everything he could and nothing worked. And it came down to just like, I'm going to wait for the sun now. So that's a bad sign to me because that explains why the upper moons have not changed in hundreds of years. It also was a little shocking to me that the sun does affect the upper moons the same way as the other demons. I don't know why, but I kind of just was wondering if maybe upper moons don't have that issue. Like sometimes in vampire flicks and vampire shows, they'll have that thing where like, oh, this vampire is so powerful that like the sun doesn't actually kill them.
Yeah, like Edward is stronger than Dracula.
Okay. Right. little Twilight moment, because the Twilight vampires are unaffected by the fucking sun. They only shine.
They just glitter.
Yep. So yeah, like I was wondering if maybe, because at this point we're still world building in Demon Slayer. Like we don't know a lot of the way the physics and things work in this world. We're still trying to figure it out. So like when I saw the upper moon, I was like, I wonder if the sun even affects him. But then when the sun started to come up, he was terrified. He was terrified. Like everything about him changed. All of the playful, I just want to fight and get stronger with you, I want to recruit you, all that went out the door. He was like, let me fucking go. Like, let me go right now. Like he started cursing and going crazy.
And then Tanjiro has a great moment where he's like, you're a fucking coward. He was like, you keep talking about how demons are so fucking strong. Like we always fight you on your fucking turf.
Yep.
Like we're always fighting you on your fucking turf, bitch. Like go ahead, run, bitch. Go ahead. Go ahead, run.
So actually I didn't tear up from Rengoku dying. But I did get emotional when the upper moon ran and Tanjiro chased after him and threw his sword into the forest to try to like kill him or whatever.
Yeah.
And said like, come back here and fight me, even though Tanjiro really couldn't fight. If that guy did turn around and just said, I'm going to just snap your neck because you're talking too much, there was nothing Tanjiro could do. Yeah. But the fact that he's in that moment, he's so pissed. I felt his emotion. Like, you get back here, you fucking coward. Like, I don't know. Something about that was super emotional. It was
a great moment. It was a great moment.
I kind of just want to watch the movie again tonight just to like, I love that ending. See, that the last 30 minutes of that movie are so good.
It really is. And because there's a moment, it's before Rengoku dies, where Tanjiro wants to help, and Rengoku's like, you can't. He was like, you're gonna die. He was like, if you die, then like I fail my mission.
Yes. Right? You can't let me fail, basically.
Yeah, like everybody has to live or I fail. He's like, because he protected every single person on that train. He's like, you have to live.
That's nuts. So nuts. But
so
the upper moon gets away. They also flash at some point in the movie. They flash the upper moons, like they show silhouettes.
Yeah. They they show the other. I thought you were saying something else. So but yeah, they do that. But also after Rengoku dies, there's like the crow, right? The crow goes and tells all the Hashira. I thought that's what you were about to say.
Yeah, that part
all the Hashira react. All the Hashira react to their death, and then also. The movie starts, we didn't mention this guy really at all, but the movie starts with the blind guy, the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps, I believe.
Right.
He has like this fucking purple fucking fucked up face thing, and he's blind. The movie starts with him and it ends with him, and he's like, one of my children died or something like that. I can't wait to find out his deal.
Me too, because I feel like him and Muzan are connected in some weird way.
Yeah.
But we don't know much about him. He keeps talking about his time is almost up, right? Like, doesn't he allude to his death, like his mortality?
Yeah, he's dying soon.
Yeah, it sounds like he's dying soon. And so I'm actually interested in that. Like, he's definitely an interesting character. We don't know much about him, but all the Hashiras, they bow to him. Like when sodomy was going off in the later episodes of the anime, when the leader came out, everybody kind of like prostrated themselves. Like they kind of just got like really silent and just like obedient. So there's something about that guy that just calls for reverence. And I kind of like that mystery. But he doesn't look strong. He's blind. He needs these two girls to like walk, kind of, it seems like.
Yeah, he's always walking around. They're like helping him walk around.
They're kind of guiding him. So he doesn't seem like theoretically strong in any particular way, but for whatever reason, they revere him. So
yeah, we know he's going to be OD just because like.
Yeah. Like he's going to have something.
Or at the very least, he used to be OD. There's going to be a flashback. We're going to get something. We're going to get more info on him.
Yeah. But it does start and end with him. And it also ends with the Hashiras all receiving the news that the Flame Hashira has died, which they all take it differently.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the different responses. Like the Love Hashira, she just kind of like really sad. But then like Giyu was just like, Like that's literally the one kid with the blank eyes. Like, remember? Yeah, he's just like, I don't remember his reaction. I'm assuming it was just blank, but like he's interesting just because he's blank. Like he's just got a blank. The one that stares at the clouds. You talking about? Yeah.
We know he's going to be broken. He's going to be fucking broken. Like he's going to be insane.
The Hashiras all have very different responses. One of them is like can't be, like You know, like
One of them like can't believe it. Like, there's no fucking way.
I think it's the snake one. He's like really shocked. Like, this no fucking way, right? Like, but yeah, Mugen Train is great. I recommend that you definitely watch it if you haven't. The anime won a bunch of awards in 2021. They won.
I wanted to talk about the awards. This is something I want to bring up. I want to hear your opinion on this. Go ahead.
So they won Japan Academy Prize for Animation of the Year, Japan Academy Prize for Popularity, and Japan Academy Prize for Outstanding Achievement in Music. All of which, like, you can easily understand why Demon Slayer won Best Animation and like Outstanding Achievement in Music. The anime does such a good job conveying emotion through music and also just visuals. Like, the fucking visuals are beautiful.
Now, it won all these things in Japan, correct?
Yes.
All right. So here's something, and spoiler, this frustrates me. This is something that frustrates me. So like I told a little story about how I saw the movie, and my mom, who doesn't watch anime, never saw Demon Slayer. Like, the movie affected her as well. Like, it was a well done film. So here's like something, I just read this on the Wikipedia earlier. It says, despite its premiere, this is something I didn't know. Despite its premiere, where it became the first major R-rated animation release in the US since 2016 Sausage Party. So I think it's kind of funny. I didn't even realize that it was an R-rated film in the US.
Right, randomly.
So, and this is the first R-rated animation in the US since that movie Sausage Party in 2016. Okay. So despite its premiere being an R-rated animation film, the film receives highly positive for its music, characters, and action sequences were praised. Though the opening sequence and production quality from the studio film's standards drew polarized response, it broke numerous box office records and was submitted in the best animated feature film category for the 93rd Academy Awards. However, it was not nominated. The fact that it was not even nominated kind of annoys me.
Yeah, that does. That's just, I don't really trust the Academy Awards, honestly.
I don't either. I for a long time thought they were bullshit. But it's one of those things where it's like, this movie, I think, has done so much. Everybody talked about it. It did super during COVID. Like, sure, it was the back end of COVID, but still during COVID, it did extremely well in the box office.
It did.
And there's a lot of
it's the biggest movie in Japan, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it was one of the biggest movies in America, for this year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people crying, like, oh, like COVID's ruining the box office. Like, there's a bunch of movies that didn't do as well as people wanted them to do in the box office, whereas this movie crushed it. And it's frustrating that, once again, I know the Academy Awards are bullshit, but it's just frustrating how, like, it's just another piece of evidence how, like, they don't want to, like, they don't want to move the needle. Like, this deserved to be nominated.
Yeah, this definitely did. I mean, your mom cried and she doesn't know what fucking thing about Demon Slayer. I just feel like,
like, come on, like that counts for something. That counts for something.
Yeah, it definitely does. Like, but yeah, I mean, Demon Slayer is amazing, and that's why we wanted to definitely do a whole episode just talking about Demon
Imagine
Slayer.
You go into a movie with your plan is to sleep. Your plan in going to the movie is like, whatever, my fucking boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, brother, kid is going to watch this dumbass movie. I'm going to take a nap. And instead, you watch it, enjoy some of the characters, and end up crying.
You're fucking in full on tears.
Come on.
You plan to get good sleep, and instead you got a good cry. Puddles. It turned her into fucking puddles. So yeah, I mean that's Demon Slayer. It's really good. I can't wait for season 2. Where do you think the story's going? Like, after this? So now we have Ahashira. Ahashira has been killed. Tanjiro saw an upper moon.
I think there's going to be, especially because Ahashira has been killed, there's going to be some movement of the Hashira. Like, I think that either all of them or like some, I think we're going to get some sort of like forward momentum now with the Hashira. Like, I think there's going to be something going forward with them. I don't know. Like, this could be one of those moments where like they get called together and like they create like a task force to like
because they just worked together recently, and I feel like they might need to be called together again. Like, whenever one of them dies, maybe that's like a thing. Also, I think it's interesting because Tanjiro's sword is gone.
Yeah, he's got to get his sword, and he just lost his sword not that long ago because it broke. So he's got to either go get his sword back or something. Yeah,
I'm wondering how that's going to play out. Like, you know, it's a big deal. Your sword is a big deal in Demon Slayer world. So I'm interested to see what happens with his sword. I'm sure his Tanjiro's main issue that he had with himself was that he wasn't strong enough to protect anybody, really. Like he didn't feel like he felt like if he was stronger, he could do more. And so I'm wondering if this is about to start a new training arc where he's like, I have to get fucking stronger. I have to master.
Yeah.
Maybe he starts like doing Hinokami Kagura.
We're even mastering because we didn't, I don't even think we mentioned it, but there was another training arc right before the movie.
Yeah.
Where he trains with Shinobu.
Yeah, where they're constantly doing deep breathing at all times.
Yeah. Constantly training.
All times.
That's another thing to go back. That's another moment that frustrated me about Zenitsu and Inosuke. Like they got despondent really quick and gave up on the training like super early. And I was like, come on, guys, like what are you doing? Like they just gave up on the training super early. Like,
but then
like
they just like randomly were like, oh, we actually went through it too.
Yeah. It was
It was just kind of like a little like insert like they're actually powerful too.
Yeah, I think eventually they got like inspired and tried again or something. But
because
they did have a training arc.
There was cute girls there,
but yeah, I think maybe they'll go back and like fully master some of that or train more. But I do think there's going to be some forward momentum. It's one of those things where I think we're going to get. I definitely think there's going to be some movement with the Hashira. Either there's going to be like they get called back together. It might be like spoilers for like go back to My Hero Academia. Like I remember when Bakugo got captured in like season 2 or whatever. Bakugo got captured. I remember at first thinking like this is going to be like a whole thing. There's going to be a whole like the Bakugo retrieval arc.
Yeah,
the shit was like next episode they got his ass back. Like they collected the fucking heroes and they were like, go get them. Like,
it took no time at all. Like they were like, absolutely not. We're not letting one of our children, especially a child. Imagine you send your kid to a school and he gets fucking abducted. Like they were like,
it was quick. So I wonder if we'll get something like that where it's like all the Hashira come together and like hunt down one of the upper moon or something. I don't know. But
they need to do something because the idea of the upper moon's not ever perishing or losing or whatever is just kind of scary to me. I just don't know what to think about that. I do have an interesting thought. The character Shinobu, the Hashira, the poison Hashira, something about her seems like she wants to die. I mean, I don't think that's not even a hot take, really. Her sister died, right?
Yeah. And then she's like really like
somber all the time.
She like fakes her emotions, kind of like she acts chipper, but she's not. Like,
I think Tanjiro realized it, right? He was like, I feel an intense anger in you. Yeah, like he can smell it or whatever.
If I remember correctly, she like absolutely, as chipper and go lucky as she is, she hates demons. Like when we see her in the arc with the spider demon, there's a part where she's like, hey, like do you want to be my friend? She's like, you can be a good demon, like we can be friends and blah, blah, blah. And then she like murders them.
Crazy. Yes. The way she was talking to that demon was so scary. She was like, we're going to be friends. You're going to atone for what you did. I'm going to slash you and torture you for every single human that you killed.
Then she's like, don't lie to me. How many humans have you killed?
And she was like,
you're lying. Like,
yeah, like she's very sadistic in the way she handles demons. She also doesn't fear them at all. Like she was just like on top of this demon, just, casually like, I'm going to fucking slash you and hurt you and cut that pretty face of yours up until you've atoned. And then and only then can we be friends. Like,
yep.
The demon was like,
atone, and then the demon was like,
get the fuck out of here. Like, what the fuck?
It's pretty crazy. I think
she's
really
gonna die though. I think that there's gonna be I don't know why I have this in my head because I'm such a like I don't know. I just kind of like visualize things that I expect to happen. I have this scene in my head where she's gonna go against one of the upper moons maybe, and she's gonna go to cut them or whatever, but she can't decapitate as we already know. And that's obviously going to like be really, really bad against the upper moon. But then she's going to poison the upper moon and think that like they're dead and it's not going to work and they're going to surprise attack and kill her. I can see that happening. I can see her coming across an upper moon and that wisteria poison literally just not fucking working at all. Like the upper moon is just like that. Like that is absolutely a joke to me. Like, but they might pretend like it worked. That whole thing. They might fall down and it get covered in purple and you think like, oh shit, she actually killed the upper moon. And then she turns her back and the fucking upper moon puts its arm through her chest or something and like absolutely kills her. And she seems like she wants to die.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we got more deaths in the Hashira ranks.
Oh, I think that Demon Slayer is going into a very dark place. Like the anime is the anime is very dark. It's people die.
Yeah.
Humans get killed a lot in this whole thing, and also seeing a Hashira get killed is a big deal because they're supposed to be the strongest. They are the strongest of the Demon Slayers.
Yeah,
So,
they are. Like there's not, as far as we know, and I don't think there's any secret. Like they are. There's not a tier above them. It's them and then their captain.
that's
it's
it.
them and then the boss.
Yep. So yeah, the future is looking pretty grim. And I don't really know how they like correct this situation or fix the situation. Do they have to replace the flame Hashira? Does there have to be a Hashira for every element? Like we don't really know these things, and I'm interested to see how this works.
I don't think there has to be a Hashira for every element. I don't. There's not a Thunder one, so I don't think.
Okay, true.
Because when they showed us all, I think they briefly tell us what all of them do.
They do mist, like love, stone.
Yeah. So
flame, water. Yeah.
So yeah. There just needs to be. I'm assuming there needs to be. I'm gonna count. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 of them, I think. So I'm guessing for whatever reason there just needs to be 9 of them.
Okay.
Like that's the number.
Yeah. But they don't necessarily have to do any particular breathing. It could be anything as long as you're strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if they have to like if the next thing is like we have to replace that Hashira, like what has to happen. But yeah, that's
I think the first thing, or at least I hope they don't drag it out too long because Rengoku gave a hint to Tanjiro saying that like his father had like these scrolls or whatever. And so he was saying something about Tanjiro going to see Rengoku's dad.
Yep.
Because his
he
dad
did
had
get
like
something.
these scrolls.
Yeah, he got something. He didn't like obviously he didn't get any progression on the sun breathing at all. But he did get like go talk to this person. He's getting a wild goose chase. The typical anime.
Yeah.
You travel to this guy and in hopes that he could help you, and then he can't, but he can tell you someone who can, and that guy can't, and then you keep going.
So I am hoping that we get something there. That he goes. I'm hoping. Basically, what I'm saying is, I hope it doesn't take too long for that thread to get pulled on.
Right.
And maybe he gets to meet Rengoku's little brother. Which would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. There's another thing
I'm hoping that thread gets pulled on soon. For the next season. I hope I don't have to wait too long for that.
Same. There's another thing I want to talk about too. So, and this will be the last. We'll wrap up after this, but not all demons are actually bad in Demon Slayer. And it's not just Nezuko. It just struck me that in the middle of the show they encountered a woman demon, and she had like an understudy, and they were good. Like they were genuinely good and actually working on a cure.
Yeah. I don't remember why she became good because I think she's been a demon for a very long time. She's been a demon for like a couple 100 years, I think, as well.
And she doesn't eat humans either. Like she kind of.
Yes, she does not eat humans, and she has an understudy, and the understudy was a regular demon that would kill things, and she like curbed that for him.
Right.
And
like
then
he's good too. He's very protective of her, but
yes,
they don't kill living humans. Like they won't just go out and see a human alive and be like, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah. And I don't remember if they go into what changed for her, how she was able to change, but it creates a goal. This is something we haven't touched on at all. It does create a new goal for Tanjiro because he wants to cure Nezuko, and she's like, you have to get the purest like demon blood you can. She's basically, you got to get lower and upper moon blood.
Yeah,
because their blood is the closest to Muzan.
So he goes around. He goes around when he kills demons. He like takes their blood.
Yeah,
and like as they're dying and fading away, because they take a little bit to like dissipate. And so he goes around like getting the blood of all these demons and storing it, and it's a big deal because he's really trying to find a cure. And she told him like, if you collect, different blood, like maybe I can use it for my research and figure out a cure. Because she genuinely wants to cure, but she's a demon, and so is an understudy. And it's really cool because it tells you that, like, Nezuko isn't special in the sense that she's a demon that won't kill people. It's just Nezuko's, to me at this point, she's special because she won't talk, and every other demon talks a lot. I think the one time she spoke,
when she did her blood art.
I was about to say that. Like, I feel like it's when she did her blood art. Like, I think that she says the art.
You hear her. Yeah, she says like Bakuatsu.
Yeah, like you hear I don't know. Okay.
That's what she says.
Oh,
That's
is that really?
Yeah, Bakuhatsu is explosion.
Okay. All right. But yeah, she like literally speaks, I think, for that one moment. I don't know if she actually speaks or if that was just like some anime only shit. But as far as I know, that's the only time that Nezuko speaks as a demon. So
yeah.
But yeah,
it's it's interesting. If so we kind of just broad overview went over all of Demon Slayer today. We just kind of like chatted about everything and like little aspects that we liked.
The movie,
that said,
like that.
If anybody wants us to, and I'm sure we just will anyway, for any of the topics we ever talk about, if there's something that you specifically want us to analyze and like really dig into, just like let us know. I want to, because I want to dig in, because like we went over a whole overview, but I also really like, and me and Frazier have done this a bunch of times just in the past, like sitting around a fucking table at 2 a.m. eating pizza, where we'll just like dig into and analyze like a certain topic or a certain ideal of a anime or a movie or whatever.
Like go very, very detailed into just one topic of a show.
Yeah, so we're just kind of, I guess this is like our introduction to doing Demon Slayer, but I'm sure we'll come back to it and like really dive into other
season
things.
Season 2 will come out as well, and we'll probably be doing maybe like a little discussion about the latest episodes of the animes as they air. Like we're going to do an episode where we talk about like the new upcoming anime season, and when Demon Slayer is airing in season 2, we'll definitely start speaking about it again, because I'm sure that shit is going to be hype.
I'm pretty pumped to see where it goes. Like I said, Demon Slayer I like a lot. It's not at the moment. I wouldn't put it in my top 10 anime of all time. Like I know some people put it as their number 1. They put it in their top 10 and all. I like it a lot.
Same.
I know some people get it. Like if you say it's not in your top 10, they're like, you don't like it. It's like, no, I mean, I like a lot of anime, dog.
You've watched a ton, so understandable. But if you guys want to say anything to us, if you want us to read anything aloud on the show, if you have any questions, please send them to IMNerd Podcast at gmail.com. And as long as it's appropriate, not offensive, we will actually read it on the show and discuss it. So you have a topic that you want to talk about. And I mean, you guys can, like, even if we've talked about it already, like this is a Demon Slayer episode, but if you guys have something you want to say about Demon Slayer or something that you thought was interesting or you want us to talk about, please send it to us and we will actually bring it up in the following episode.
We can go back to it. In the time that me and I've known Frazier before we were in the One Piece. I got into One Piece in 2012, I want to say. I met Frazier in 2010. The point is, though, since both of us have gotten into One Piece, I can't tell you how many times we sat around a table and talked about it. So, like, we're going to, and, you know, Demon Slayer and Bleach and Naruto, we probably have a conversation, like, at least 3 times a year about how fucking good Naruto was and how bad it got. Yes. So, like...
Yeah, I mean, one of our episodes that's coming up is definitely going to be a Naruto episode, because how could you not talk about such a huge influential anime, right? Like Naruto's one of the biggest, especially in the West. Naruto is huge. Like it's really mainstream in North America, and so we're
Naruto
definitely going to
like
talk about
the
it.
Second DBZ.
It was. Honestly, that's kind of how I feel about it. Whereas I grew up, like you and I grew up on DBZ, a lot of people grew up on Naruto. Like Naruto is what they saw when they were like 7 years old, and they grew up with the show. And I kind of grew up on Dragon Ball Z and all that, like Toonami stuff. And
I'll never forget, man. I knew people that, like, they may or may not have done some things, is all I'll say. But they'll have like a Bruce Lee poster, a Goku poster, and a Sasuke poster.
Yep.
Like,
and they would just love like ride for fucking Sasuke or Naruto, or whatever. Like they were all about that shit.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
So
the most unlikely people.
Naruto and DBZ,
huge.
It changed the game, man.
Definitely huge. So we're going to talk about Naruto real soon. But yeah, let us know what you guys think at IMNerdPodcast at gmail.com. And as always, so long, Gay Bowser.
So long, Gay Bowser.
All right. Bye.